SMK Miguel Jalinenko. Yeah. The research field is including the education management, English teaching, and so on. Welcome, Dr. D. Is the Dr. Ha Hui Tun from the Vietnam, the lecturer of the Hue University of Economics. And Dr. Ha is also the lecturer at the Torrance University, Australian, and the Stanley College of South Australia. Research field including accounting, finance, and small and medium-sized enterprise. Welcome. So this is the all information about our experienced expert today. Now let's forward what they will share with us together. Okay, and then we'll move to
embracing the benefits of technology to improve educational outcomes. In 2015 and in 2022, the same author also proposed a model of information and communication technology for integration education, integration to classroom communication. And these are the components of the proposed model. First is focusing on understanding teachers and students' views on ICT integration and classroom communication, followed by identifying expected benefits of ICT integration. What would be beneficial out of integrating ICTs and classroom communication, both for the lecturers and the learners. Next is participating in social interaction. This means discourses between and among learners, teachers, co-teachers, administrators, and other stakeholders involving the educational system. Next is determining ICT utilization. What are those ICT tools that we need? What are those ICT tools that we don't have? And what are those ICT tools that we need to provide? Next is on identifying the teaching and learning system. Which areas do we need to come in terms of integrating classroom communication within the teaching and learning process? And after that, you look into implementing the desired teaching, learning system, and ICT utilization. Of course, the implementation of a specific intervention needs facilitating, monitoring, and evaluation scheme so that we can ensure to really identify what went wrong and what went well in terms of the implementation. And of course, there is also a need for pre-planning for us to ensure the sustainability of our interventions. So this model aligns with educational goals, enhance teaching effectiveness, and provide students with the skills needed for the digital age. Factors like infrastructure, teacher training, and ongoing support to ensure successful implementation are also considered. In 2023, CACPAL made mention about AI education or artificial intelligence education in configuring artificial intelligence as a tool for education. We all know right now that in this digital age, we cannot do away with artificial intelligence. So they consider it as a software or websites, for example, that check spelling, grammar, and even plagiarism detectors, which are visibly part of our lives. So the education sector must create protocols that will ensure the responsible usage of AI in preserving academic integrity. And I believe that this is one of the challenges of any educational sector within the Philippines, in the ASEAN region, and in the whole world as a whole. So the current state of education prompts us to reconsider and improve the system, including strategies, rules, and policies to move towards a new and better approach to learning. We have to utilize the AI technologies ethically and equitably to amplify its effectiveness to the learners and educators, bridge educational gaps, and empower individuals to reach their full potential. With thoughtful implementation of artificial intelligence, it would further reshape education, prepare the learners for the complexities of the 21st century and beyond, and empower them to thrive in an ever-evolving world. Artificial intelligence is a powerful tool for educators, a complementary tool rather than a substitute for human interaction. So artificial intelligence, when used properly, will enhance the various aspects of the teaching learning process. It is crucial also for us to ensure that the use of artificial intelligence will address privacy concerns and also provide proper training for educators to really maximize the benefits of artificial intelligence in education. Now, as to some trends in education in the Philippines other than the technological aspect, first we have inclusive education. So inclusive education promotes the involvement and active participation of all students, including those with diverse backgrounds, abilities, and learning needs in regular classroom settings. So the legal basis of inclusive education in the Philippines is the Republic Act number 50 of 2021, which is an act instituting a policy of inclusion and services for learners with disabilities in support of inclusive education in municipalities and cities, providing for standards appropriating, establishing inclusive learning resource centers of learners with disabilities in all school districts, funds therefore and for other purposes. So the importance of inclusive education includes promoting diversity and equality, supporting social integration, enhancing learning for all, promoting positive attitudes, respecting human rights, and reducing special education stigma, and addressing varied learning styles. So we can strategize implementing inclusive education by understanding and acknowledging diversity, clear expectations for inclusion, promoting positive peer relationships, accessible learning materials, and culturally responsive teaching. In the Philippines, we also advocate for peace education. So there are at least 3 legal bases for peace education in the Philippines. The first being the Commission on Higher Education Memorandum Number 1, Series of 2019, which calls for the integration of peace education or studies into relevant higher education curricula. The CHED Memorandum Order Number 42, Series of 2021, which recommended guiding principles and practices on peace education for higher educational institutions. And in 2023, the Matatag Curriculum of the Department of Education, the basic education authority in the Philippines, the Department of Education, aims to nurture a generation which prioritizes peace, unity, and the welfare of their communities. So the key features of peace education in the Philippines include value formation, conflict resolution skills, human rights education, cultural sensitivity, social justice awareness, global citizenship, community engagement, trauma-informed education, and advocacy for sustainable development. So peace education seeks to promote knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary for individuals to contribute creating a culture of peace. It also involves teaching of conflict resolution, understanding multiple and varied perspectives, fostering empathy, and promoting non-violent communication. And lastly, on Indigenous people studies or education. So the Indigenous people's education or studies recognizes and respects the unique cultural, linguistic, and historical perspectives of Indigenous communities. It also aims to provide relevant and inclusive learning experiences that reflect Indigenous knowledge, traditions, and values. The goal of Indigenous education is to empower Indigenous peoples and communities by respect. The legal basis of IP education in the Philippines is the CHED Memorandum Order Number 2 Series of 2019, the integration of Indigenous people studies or education into the relevant higher education curricula for awareness of IP culture and their rights to understand cultural diversity. The key features of IP education is focused on cultural preservation, community involvement, preserving and promoting oral traditions, holistic learning approaches, respect for Indigenous knowledge systems, emphasizing local languages, and fostering sense of identity. So lastly, the major takeaways from this presentation is focused on call to action to embrace change, foster dynamic learning environment, collaboration and participation for the continuous improvement of the educational system. And these takeaways emphasize the importance of adaptability, innovation, and collective efforts in addressing the evolving needs of education in the Philippines, ensuring a more inclusive, effective, and forward-looking educational landscape. These are the references. Thank you very much for listening. listening. Maraming salamat po. And good afternoon.
Okay, many thanks for Dr. Luis to introduce the Philippine Education Innovation Internet. Yeah, and Dr. Luis is also explaining the challenge in the Philippine education and indicated the using the information and communication technology, we call it ICT, to integration the classroom communications and can provide a rich teaching resource for both teacher and students. Thank you so much. And next, we will like to invite Dr. Zhen to sharing the presentation. Dr. Zhen, could you please share your screen and start your presentation?
So I don't have to mention which
Yes. Yes, you can start screen now. Yeah. Yes, please start.
Yes, so today I'm going to share about the big classroom for tourism and hospitality, especially in polytechnic.
And sorry, could you please make it full screen? Yes.
To slideshow.
Is it full screen?
It's okay. It's okay.
Yes, now.
So for the introduction, so the COVID-19 pandemic saw a massive shift in the education landscape with the number of innovative teaching methods introduced to accommodate at home learning. So many of which start now as students return to the physical classroom. Okay, so we all know about 2 or 3 years ago, so we have been which is attacked by COVID-19, and everyone start, especially students start in the house and get working. So a lot of the technology and the innovation about classroom, which is a pleasure. Especially this is for the flipped classroom. Okay, but I noticed that before that COVID-19, so the flipped classroom actually, which is STEAM, okay, for some of the courses. And the idea of the flipped classroom was a trend with staying power because of the way in which it enhances student learning experience. Okay, student-led active learning, peer-to-peer collaboration and individualized guidance. Educators enable educators to adapt each lesson to the individual needs of their student while encouraging connection and critical thinking. And using the clip videos to explain core concepts and introduce complicated topics also frees up the valuable in-person class time for more interactive discussion between teachers and students. But what is a flipped classroom exactly? The flipped classroom inverts the traditional learning experience, lectures, and share outside of class for individual review as homework. And classroom time is reserved for discussion and interactive project. And the principal goals of flipping are as follows. So to make the classroom an active learning environment, so because the traditional learning system, which is the lecturer or the teacher and the student go into the class, and then we study all the notes together, okay, and they have a very limited time to discuss and have the interactive between the lecturers and the students. To enable the student to learn at their own pace and to give the instructor more time to teach each student individually rather than the class as a whole. Because the traditional learning system, which is take a lot of time to study together, the notes, also the PowerPoint, okay? But the flipped classroom, so enable the student to learn at their own pace whenever they are free and they are available to learn. And this is, we have a lot of the time in the class, which is lecturers or the instructor can focus on which topic and the student, which is the student is weak or the have a very low, poor understanding about the topic, and the instructor can focus on particular student and particular topics to explain more details about it. Okay, flipped classroom. A flipped classroom is structured around the idea of lecture or direct instruction. Is not the best use of class time. Instead, students encounter information before class, freeing class time for activities that involve higher order thinking. So although the flipped classroom has long been the practice within the certain discipline, even if it is not given the name, actually the flipped classroom, which is a lot, been applied long time ago in some of the Western countries or even countries. But for the Asian, some of the Asian countries, which is recently, as Hassan mentioned before, the COVID-19, the concept took off as technological changes made it easier to access and create educational materials. This approach assumes that there is no difference between students listening to the lecture individually and with other students in class. So there are plenty of the ways these activities differ, and they are benefits that lecture can provide, such as create a social experience, student pick up from other student social cues, and they are also strategies you can use to make lectures interactive. So this is how we have applied. Okay, some of the process. So there are 3 stages actually. So as also I mentioned, there are 3 stages of the pre-classroom, which are pre-class, in-class, and post-class. In the pre-class, participants were asked to do the preparation and assessment before they came to the class. Then in the pre-class, participants were taking online lectures and asked to take the comprehension quiz based on the online lecture. So means that before the class, so lecturer or instructor will give exercise or activities about particular topics to be studied on the day. So students will learn on their own pace and study before they go to the class. So when in the class, they are encouraged to retake the comprehension quiz as a relevant step of the classroom in the class. Participants were assigned to the team activity, which deals with the topic related to reading and discussion. Then the instructor gave the lecture, which is the key of instruction, and participants were asked to participate in the duration of instruction. So in the class, so the lecturers will give some of the quizzes and also the activity according to what they have learned pre-class. Example, maybe the lecturer will ask some of the questions about the topics and give a Kahoot activity of the program, the quiz, and also the some of the game. Okay. As for the post-class, participants are taking reflective reports. So after the class, students will be asked about some of the questions about the topic that they learned today. So whether they are understood or not about the topic they learned. Okay, so benefits of the flipped classroom. It is flexible. Yes, as mentioned, students can learn at their own pace whenever they are free, at their own time. Students take responsibility for their learning. The students learn rather than encounter material class. There are more opportunities for higher level learning. It does not waste time transferring information to students when the information is available to them in books or online. So instructor and the team work for more closely with the student, getting to know student better and providing better assistance. Because in the class, so the lecturers no need to spend a lot of the time to teach to explain about the notes. So the instructor can focus on the student, which is lack of the knowledge and they are not understand about the topic delivered, and then so that the process of the learning, which is more effective, increase the collaboration between the students. And this is the traditional classroom, also the classroom. Okay, so normally for the free class, so we take 0 to 5 minutes and then review the last night homework. So this is what we implement in Malaysia. So lecturer is which is we have to recall what students learned for the previous class. Example, we will ask some of the questions, okay, about what they learned last week or last class to refresh or recall back what they're going to and then the consistency of the topic of they are going to learn today. Okay, and then also the lecture need for 30 to 45 minutes. So after the 45 minutes, we have to stop. And then the guided independent learning 10 to 20 minutes. Okay, so means that students have their own time to discuss with the student. And for the fifth classroom, students arrive and settle 0 to 5 minutes. Questioning for understanding around the previous night video 10 minutes. And also guided independent cooperative learning 55 minutes. So means that we no need to spend a lot of the time to learn what the traditional classroom do, lecture do content. And students just have to be independent according to what what we learn in the flipped classroom. And this is the benefit of the flipped classroom. Okay, so due to the time, so actually I do have set up the template of this classroom to show. So I wonder we still have time for me to show to the audience. Is it this one or just proceed to the next slide? Okay, that's it. And also the next step. And okay, the future of the flipped classroom. The pandemic caused a surge in the use of the flipped classroom model as educators and students could no longer rely solely on meeting the person. This shift revealed the power of accessible, flexible, and engaging the virtual learning method, as well as the benefit that come from the blend of synchronized and asynchronous learning. Flipped classrooms are here to stay. Their efficacy during the pandemic proved that this pedagogical approach can transcend time and location, offering unparalleled flexibility for all work. Many educators are continuing to incorporate elements of the flipped classroom even after returning to 100% in-person learning. They are using the video and multimedia materials outside of class time in order to make in-class time to richer, more intuitive learning experience. Okay. So this is what I can explain just now. Flipping allows students to learn at their own pace. Learning is customized and deep engaging. Flipped lecture videos help students review for exam and master the content. Flipped content can be richer through correction and continuous improvement. Students in flipped classroom may show better learning outcomes. And this is all new flipped classroom. That's all of my presentation today. So,
Yes. Okay. Many thanks for Dr. Zhen's sharing about the flipped classroom topic. Yeah, he explained the concept of the flipped classroom and point out that the flipped classroom allows students to set their own learned pace, enhance their motivation, and also help the teacher to gain a better understanding for a student learning situation. Okay, thank you so much for your sharing. And then we can move to the Q&A section for this part. So if you have any question for these two experts, Dr. Zhen and Dr. Luis, please raise your hand or just open your microphone. Yes, I see. Yes, just please turn on your microphone to ask the question.
Thank you very much. Mine is a quick one. I just want to request Dr. Lee to display that why flip that PowerPoint slide. Just display it. That's my question, kindly.
Okay. So your question is for Dr. Louis or Dr. Zhen? Yeah.
The previous, that's Dr. Lee. The one was just finished.
Yeah. Okay. So please answer the question. Yeah.
Is it me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Dr. Lee. Yeah, the expert from
Dr. Lee.
ICA.
Dr. Lee, kindly display that that slide you had. Why flip learning? That second last slide you had. I just need to review something small there.
Yes, please.
Okay. So why flip? Okay. This one, right?
Yeah, why flip?
Okay.
Yeah, and Dr. Zhen, please answer the question from the participant. Thank you.
Okay. So means that why flip? Okay, because when you are flipping the classroom, so you allow the student to learn at their own pace. It's just how I mentioned. Okay, so especially during the pandemic, but now so we are not quarantined anymore. Okay, but this split classroom is still applied in most of the our polytechnic in Malaysia, because we are under the Ministry of Higher Education. So actually, for polytechnic, we do have a lot of activity and also the program to run by the student. And sometimes some of the classes, I mean the face-to-face classes, we had to cancel or postpone. But when we have the flipped classroom, so we don't need to worry about the postponed classes and also the cancel class, any class of the cancel of the class. So means that student can learn on pace anytime and anywhere. And so during the face-to-face class, so means that the student have their own knowledge when they are studying at their own pace. And during the class, the instructor asks some of the questions and also maybe which part that the student not understand about and explain, maybe can focus and individually to certain student.
Okay, thank you so much for answering. Yes. Okay, so if have any other question, please just turn on your microphone to ask the question.
Hello.
Dr. Dev, I'm here having an inquiry. The videos which you give the learners, do you give them a specific link for them to review, or they can Google and search on their own? Thank you.
Yeah, okay. You mean about the video in the flip classroom, the tablet?
Sir.
Yes, please repeat your question. It's not
meaning the video in the flip classroom. Do you give the link to the students to view from home or when you are together?
Yeah, it's okay. I will show you the another tablet. Okay, so I cannot share the contents. Sorry.
Yeah, you can share the link to the chat board, and then the participant can check the link after the meeting.
The content of
Would be good.
I'm going to show you. I cannot share with you.
Okay, and any other question? Just open your microphone to ask the expert.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if the indigenous people is the education system given. I forget the name. But my question is the bamboo related how process for
education system, the bamboo-related education for indigenous people, for study, for the schooling and vocational. That's like.
Okay, so your question is for which expert?
Some who are the indigenous people say the education system. I forget this name. Expert.
Dr. Luis or Dr. Zen?
Excuse me, so I think I was the one who presented something about indigenous.
Dr. Luis, Dr. Luis.
Yes, please.
So what's the question again, sir?
Sir, I just an example given that I am the indigenous people. So how can you teach me, but learn me toolkit? How can the process for the bamboo education based, any forestry based? So that is that. For example, I given the how can you process this given the education for the indigenous people?
Okay. Based on what I have understood from your question is that you wanted to share indigenous knowledge systems in terms of bamboo, vocational or for whatever purposes. In the Philippines, what we are doing is, of course, we have the legal basis first. So the legal basis is the backbone for educational institutions to really integrate or include lessons or topics or any courses or subjects for that matter on indigenous peoples or traditional knowledge systems. But what we could do, for example, in your case, if there are no policies from the government about that, is that collaboration and participation between and among the academe, in your case, in your university, for example, or in your college, and with those indigenous people. So collaboration is very important. And we can integrate that by inviting them to be your speakers, for example. May it be informal or informal lectures, of course, following specific protocols. If your country has a specific protocol, for example, as to how to deal with indigenous peoples, then you have to go through some rigid policies to invite them. And also maybe field trips, exposure, or immersion of your learners to indigenous communities that propagate bamboo, for example, or any vocational whatever fields that you are into. So that's it. And also foster an inclusive classroom environment wherein we have to emphasize to our learners the importance of respecting and understanding multiple perspectives. Sometimes our perspectives, our knowledge systems might be different with that of the indigenous peoples. We cannot contradict that, we cannot question that, but what we can do is to really respect and to understand their perspectives, respect their indigenous knowledge systems. So in that way, we could have a harmonious flow of teaching and learning and relationships between and among our universities, for example, and with that of the indigenous communities.
Okay, any other question?
Hello, Dr. Zen.
Yeah, so many questions in the chat box. Okay.
I'm Leah from Guangxi University, China, and I would like to ask you, in a free classroom setting, what is the role of the teacher?
Okay, actually, the role as a teacher is still a teacher, still an instructor. Okay, the difference is, means that we have more time as an instructor or lecturer or teacher, so we have more time in the class to one by one and focus on the problem and for the maybe some of the weak students. Because that's what I mentioned, the traditional teaching method. So we enter to the class and we show the student about the notes, like the book, like the traditional teaching method. Okay, so this is what we do last time. But now, when we have a flipped classroom, so means that before students go to the class, so they study whatever that the notes that the lecturers share, that they want to teach on the following day. So they study them after their own pace. So when to the class, the exact class, so they just the student, the lecturer, I mean the instructor will ask, okay, student, do you know what we need to solve, the topic that I want to share with you today? And student and the instructor will ask a lot of questions. So to ensure that the student really know what actually the topic will be.
Okay, thanks for sharing.
For the clarity.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Lewis. I have some questions for the Dr. Lewis.
Yes, please.
And thank you for your wonderful speech. I'm Eunice, a college student from Guangxi, China. And I have prepared 2 questions regarding this topic. The first one is, how can cultural diversity and equality be integrated into classroom teaching to promote students' positive learning attitudes?
Okay, so that's the first question. Okay, so promoting cultural diversity in classrooms in education to promote positive attitudes. So just like what I have mentioned in the presentation, that in the Philippines, in order for us to really be free to exercise our academic freedom, is to really base it on the standing policy of the government, on memorandum orders by the Commission on Higher Education, and then integrate that into the curriculum. And with that, we try to contextualize. But in the case, for example, of countries like they do not have a standing policy that peace education, for example, would be included, or cultural diversity would be included into the curriculum, what you can do is to really contextualize, to really look into contextualization of your lessons, try to amalgamate or define the local context, what we call as the global and the local context. And by that, we can really promote multicultural or intercultural understanding. So we try to present the local culture, for example, the local context, and we try to also present or position it into the context of other countries, of other countries in the world, so that we could look into cultural diversity. So in cases, for example, like your students are varied or multicultural, again, contextualization is the best way to promote cultural diversity.
Okay, thank you. And my last question is, what role do you think technology plays in education?
Oh, okay. The role of technology in education right now can be viewed in both lens, in a positive and negative way. In a positive way, technology can really serve as the best empowering tool for us to further enhance, to further make our classrooms interactive. There is collaboration and participation. The downside of technology right now, like if we do not have a standing policy on the use of artificial intelligence, for example, is that perhaps on the side of the teacher or on the side of our learners, of our students, there might be a case wherein they would feel that they no longer need the teacher as the facilitator of learning. They would just simply rely on artificial intelligence or on technology to look for answers to the questions, to use technology on their advantage without needing the course facilitator, which is the teacher. So that could be viewed in both ways, a positive and a negative.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. Yeah, because the time limitation, so we are open the one last question. Yeah, if you have question, just open your microphone. The last question, we'll move to the next part.
All right, thank you very much. I have a question. It goes to Dr. Jinlip, and I'm an instructor of vocational subjects. how can we integrate the flipped mode of education into the vocational subjects as well? Is it impossible to integrate it there?
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I think vocational and polytechnic, or also the college in Malaysia, we call it college community, actually in the same line, education line. What we call it is like in Malaysia, we more to the TVET system. Okay, so yes, it's actually not because my topic is about what we call it is about the classroom inclusion and hospitality. But actually, I think this is quite suitable for any field, any industry, any fields. Okay, so yes, as just now I explained in the chat. So because of the flipped classroom, this set of the starting in what we call it the instrument, something a set of the education system that we establish or we build up and it at once. It could be. And we can set up the game, the activity, and also some of the assessment according to the different program and different department. Okay, like in our department and tourism and hospitality. So for the flipped classroom, so we will maybe not all the topic like topic one. So we have so many of the subtopic, and we just choose one or two subtopic to flip. Okay, so it doesn't mean that we have to flip classroom all of the topics. Okay, like one topic one or 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. If the instructor tells that the topic 1.2, which is quite difficult for the student to learn, to understand, then I will decide to flip this topic subtopic. Then this will make the class more interesting. Okay, and the lecturer or the instructor have more time in class to explain another or use another materials to teach the student. I mean the extra time so that the process of the learning process is more effective.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. Yeah, I see the chat box still have many questions. So please, to expert, you can send your email to the chat box and the participant can ask their questions through the email. Yeah. Okay, now we are moved to the next expert presentation section. In this part, we will have the expert from Indonesia and Vietnam. Yeah. Okay, now let's turn our attention to Dr. Dini from Indonesia to share the topic about a differentiated instruction as an innovation way thinking about teaching and learning. So, Dr. Dini, are you there? You can start your. Yes.
Thank you, Luna. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very nice to see you all. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I would like to share the presentation. Okay, can you see my paper, my PowerPoint? Yes.
Yes, yes.
Right. My title is Differentiated Instruction as an Innovative Way of Thinking about Teaching and Learning. As we can see that from many references that today's students' population are becoming increasingly academically diverse. The inclusion of students with disabilities, students with language backgrounds other than English, students with imposing emotional difficulties, and noteworthy number of gifted students reflect these growing diversities. And also, learning within the inclusive classroom is further influenced by students like gender, students' culture, students' experiences, aptitudes, interests, and so on. So, differentiated instruction as a philosophy of teaching that is based on that students learn best when their teachers accommodate the differences in their readiness levels, their interests and learning profiles. Chief objective of differentiated instruction is to take a full advantage of every student's ability to learn. So differentiation is not just an instructional strategy, nor is it a recipe for teaching. Rather, it is an innovative way of thinking about teaching and learning. So in this perspective, as a teacher, we should accept and build in the classroom on the basis that learners are all essentially different. And there is a support that the view that curriculum should be designed to engage students. It should have the ability to connect to their lives and positively influence their levels of motivation. Ladies and gentlemen, from the picture here, we can see as a teacher who perform differentiated instruction, the teaching and learning should improve learning outcomes and should increase engagement between teachers and students and should inspire love of learning. So the students like learning, the students love learning. The classroom should be happy, of course. And of course, students increase self-awareness, the importance of study, the importance of learning, and also help students learn more efficiently and with deeper understanding. So there are two sides of differentiated instructions performed by teachers. 6 elements. In the left side, there are content, process, and product. Can be chosen by the teachers. In contents, the teacher should know their students, whether the student understand or not. The student know or the materials, the lessons, and how the student can do something with the material, with the lessons. The process should be performed by the teachers is the different ways that student make sense of the content. It depends on the student's needs, of course. If students tend to love visual, or they prefer than audio, or psychomotoric or kinesthetic, the students should accommodate the different needs or the different will of the students. And the product here is the assessment, the artifacts that students create to show what they know and to show what do not know. The teachers can see the achievement of the learning by observing the product or by seeing or examining the product. This is the level of the teachers. And there's other side, the students itself or himself, the teacher should consider the readiness, students' readiness, student interests, and also students' learning preferences. So 6 elements of differentiated instruction should be comprehended by the teachers. So in the classroom, all students can be accommodated based on their readiness, based on their interests, and based on their learning preferences. Five ways to do by the teachers. The first is pre-assessment. In the pre-assessment, the teacher can gather or can obtain valuable information about the students already know, or what they need to learn, and how they learn best. So the teacher can get this point, the student's readiness, and also student interest, and student learning process, or learning preferences from the pre-assessment. After pre-assessment, the teacher can go to the next steps, the flexible grouping. Teacher can use various grouping strategies. The students can be grouped based on homogeneities or homogeneous grouping, based on the similar abilities, can be similar hobbies, or the students can be grouped based on heterogeneous grouping, like different abilities or different background. This flexible grouping. Number 3, varied instructional strategies. This is the very essential in differentiated instructions. Teacher can use combination of activities to accommodate a different readiness, interests, and learning preferences. So here, it is the hard job for teachers. After they know the variation of the students, so the teacher should make a kind of instruction. So the instruction can be understood by all teachers, all students, by all students. And next, number 4, multiple assessment. Teacher can use formative assessment such as quiz, exit tickets, observation to evaluate students' learning and adjust their instruction. Yes, and also a teacher can use summative assessment such as tests or project, and can be used to evaluate overall students' achievement. And the last, students' choice. Teacher can provide choices in the types of activities or projects students complete, the topic they study, or the method they use to demonstrate their learning. Providing choice can also help students to develop independence and self-directions. In terms of students' choice, we call it students' agency. This is, in Indonesia, it is, promoted again and again to teachers and also to the principals. The teachers should appreciate and promote students' voice. Students should be heard. All opinion, all suggestions of students should be heard by the teachers. That's students' voice. A student's choice means that there is no one option for the students. So the teachers can give many options to choose. And even if the students do not want to choose the teacher's options, the students can, can pick or can use their voice to give their own opinion, and the teacher can accommodate it. And the last, students' ownership. Here, the paradigm means here if the students' choice, students' voice are accommodated by the teachers, the students are hoped to follow or to apply their commitment. This quality paradigm, when it is applied by the teacher, so the teacher is encouraged to invite students' willpower. So what we call as independent learner can be established when the teacher promotes this kind of students' agency. This part is also should be embedded in the differentiated instructions. We call reflection in teaching. In reflection of teaching, when the teachers usually reflect after they teach, teachers can have a better understanding of their strengths and weaknesses. So it will relate to professional growth. Today, Indonesian government insists teachers from kindergarten until senior high schools and vocational high school to learn. The government provide the platform, and the teacher should use that platform to do the professional growth. The second, improving teaching methodologies. From the reflection, teacher can observe, can also examine whether the teaching method can be applied in the classroom effectively or not. So it's what we could as we can say as the continuous improvement in teaching methodologies. Next, by doing reflection in teaching, it hopes that teachers understand the students. reflecting on teaching helps teachers understand how their students best learn. And next, self-awareness and self-improvement. Reflection helps teachers identify strengths and weaknesses. And the last, of course, how to make students get the insight after they learn. So creating meaningful learning experiences. So this is important part when the students learn many topics, learn many competence, how the teacher can relate between the lesson they learn in the classroom can be meaningful, can be contextualized, can be applied in the real life situation. I think that's all, Luna. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for Dr. Dini's sharing about the content of the differentiated instruction can enhance student learning outcome and meeting the diverse learning need among students, and also can enable the teacher to communally frame the teaching plan based on the student. Okay, thank you so much. And then next is our expert from Vietnam. Yeah. Okay, now let's welcome to the Dr. Ha Ho Thuong from the Vietnam University of Economics to sharing the topic on the explore the education and teaching method between the traditional and modern. Yes. So Dr. Ha, please share your screen to start your presentation.
So hi everyone. You hear me?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Just bear with me. It's okay now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah. It's okay. So hi everyone. So my name is Yu Thương Ho. So you can call me Ho. I'm very happy to be here to share with you some experience, my experience about the innovation in education and teaching methods for the new era. I am the person who has been working in the education sector for more than 20 years, both in the Vietnamese University of Economics and Australian University. So had some opportunities to see the development in the education and teaching methods. So today I want to share something, the difference between the traditional and the modern education and teaching methods.
Yeah, Dr. Ha, we can see your screen, don't see the PPT. Yeah, you share the screen is about a virtual background. Yeah, could you please share your PPT because we cannot see your topic in the screen.
You can't see?
Yeah, I can see the virtual background, but don't have the topic on the screen.
Oh.
Yeah, you can try again. Thank you.
It's better now?
No, this slide is just for the virtual background. Yeah, it's a picture of the virtual background. It's not PPT slide.
Yeah. Just bear with me. You can see now?
No, just the virtual background. I think this is your PPT, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can share this one. Yes. Okay, please share again.
Yeah, just bear with me. You got it?
Yes, this one is correct. Please go ahead.
Yeah. It's okay now?
Yes, okay. It's perfect,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I have some opportunity to see the development in the innovation of the education and teaching methods. So today I want to share with you about the difference between the traditional education and teaching method and modern education teaching methods. So for the traditional educations, in the traditional education and teaching methods, the teacher will be the center of the class. So the teacher or the lecturer, they will choose the topic. They are the person who make all the decision in the class. They will evaluate the student performance and evidence of learning. So it seems like in the classroom, there's only one way to transfer the knowledge from the teachers to the student. The student, they don't raise any any question to the lecturer, to the teachers. So the classroom is typically quiet. So for this, it's okay in the traditional culture, in the traditional society, because even the student, they only get the knowledge from the university, from the lecture, but after graduate, they can get the job. But now when the society developed rapidly, and also because of the globalization, so if the student, they want to get a good job, they have to meet the need and the requirements from the labor market. It means that the student need to have not only the knowledge, the academic knowledge, they also need to have the experience, the soft skill. So the universities, not only the university, but also the education institution and also the whole society, they have to think about how to change the methods in education and teachings to meet the requirement with of the modern societies. And now that's why we move to the modern education and teaching methods. And in the modern education and teaching methods, the teachers also plays a very important role. However, the student will be the centers of the class. And I want to tell you something. I want to tell you some improvement from my Hue University of Economics about how to apply the modern education and teaching methods. The first one will be the first one will be the teaching methods. So long time ago, until before the COVID pandemic, we applied mainly the face-to-face class. So for the face-to-face class, if the student, they want to study in my university, they have to prepare a lot of time and financial as well. And if the student, they outside of my country, it need to apply for visa, it need to prepare for visa to settle down about the accommodation, and need to learn about the new cultures to apply to my university to take the face-to-face class. But in the COVID pandemic, I think not only us, but also in other universities all over the world, we need to change. At that time, because the border closed, and the student, they can go directly to the face-to-face class. They can't attend the face-to-face class. That's why we think about the online class. And also after that, we think, if we can hold the face-to-face class, if we can hold the online class, why don't we apply for hybrid class? So it means both face-to-face and online class together. So in my university, we apply the virtual classroom, like we apply, we use the Zoom, we use the Microsoft Teams, or we use the Google Meet for the online class. And then after that, we also apply the e-learning platform like a Blackboard, the Moodle, or Canvas. So in comparison with the Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Google Meet, the Blackboard, Moodle, or Canvas is a more better, because we can do assessment, and it doesn't have the limited times, so we can teach students as long as we want. And we also show the video. We also have a lot kind of assessment on the platform. And now we still apply both face-to-face class and online class. So it's a very, very useful for students. They don't need to come to the Huế University, even they in their home country, but they can choose our education. And also, it's good because we can invite the experts from outside, from other countries, from other universities to teach our students. Yeah. And another thing, we improve in our learning and teaching methods is about we apply the project-based learning. So in order to have the student can meet the need and requirement of the labor market, it means that in order to have the student not only to have enough knowledge, academic knowledge, they need to improve their soft skill, like the solving problem skill, or they need to have some experience to work with the real case. So we bring the real case to the class to discuss, to improve, to develop critical thinking and problem solving skills of the students. For example, like in my background is accounting, and before long time ago, when we apply for the traditional methods, we only teach the student about the literature, accounting literature. But the accounting is the real activity. They need to practice a lot and a lot. So now we apply the many kinds of accounting software, like the Xero, like MYOB, and we put the demo company with the real case, with the real information to have the student can apply the literature, the accounting literature, to solve the problem in the real case. The third one, if the student they learn the literature, they learn the academics only, is very boring. So we also apply the game-based learning. So we have the student, they learn and they play the game, and they normally we focus about the teamwork game. So the student, they not only can learn the knowledge with a very active way, they also how to communicate each other, how to do the team building, and from that they not only learn from the lecture from the teacher, they also learn from the other students as well. All of them can share their understanding, share the knowledge, their skill, and help each other to solve the problem. And also another thing, this is already applied in your country, like Dr. Lewis, Dr. Ting already mentioned about the flipped classroom model. So in the flipped classroom model, we will give the recording lecture and the instructional content to students in advance. So the students, they have more time to review everything before enter the class, before participate in the class. So they can have, when they are in the class, they have some general background information about the lesson. So from that, the lecturer or the teacher, they will control, they will manage, they will guide the student to do the interactive discussion, to do the collaborative activities and problem solving. So this is the active way to encourage students to learn about the new knowledge. And the last but not least, when the student came to our university, because now we offer the different ways of teaching, like a face-to-face, online, and hybrid, the combined online and face-to-face. So a lot of students all over the world come to our university. And so they not only learn about the knowledge, they not only learn about the soft skill, the solving problem, they also can have a chance to learn about the new culture. That is a very good, very helpful, because now when the student they graduate, they not only find a job in their hometown, they want to open their mind, they want to open their eye, and they want to get a good job in another country, another place. And if they can understand, not only if they have the deep background, they have the in-deep knowledge, in-deep skill, experience, and if they can understand about the culture in that countries, the culture of the business, so they can easy to find a job and get the high promotion in that job as well. So this is my sharing about the development in the education and teaching method. So thank you for listening. And if you have any question, if you have any concern, just feel free to answer me, to ask me. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks for the Dr. He Tietun for explaining the difference between the traditional education model and the education model. Yes, and she's also explained some model education methods such as the PBI, yes, project-based learning, and online blended learning, like in the flipped class. Okay, so next, let's move to the Q&A section for this part. Yeah, so in this part, if you have any question, we would like to ask these two experts, you can just open your microphone to ask your question. Yes. Hello, if have any question, you can just open your microphone or raise your hand, and the expert can answer your question on time. Yes. We also see some question in the chat box. Yeah, so if you see the question in the chat box, you can choose some question to answer. Yeah. Yeah. Any question? You can just open your microphone or type in the chat box. Okay, there have a question in the chat box for the higher education. Yeah, I have a question in the chat box. It's about so Dr. Dini, could you please answer the question in the chat box?
From Mr. Budi.
Yes, you can see the chat box, the question in chat box.
Okay, Mr. Budi asked me, since teachers need some preparation, what are the ideal class and working hours for teacher to implement differentiated instructions? Okay, it's very interesting questions. Of course, yes, teachers need some preparation. In Indonesia, actually we have many classes with many students, and I think it's the problem, yeah, because the ideal situation, the teachers in Indonesia should be limited classes and also few students there. So if you ask me, the ideal class, I think maybe 20 or 25 students are good. But in our regulations, in our Indonesian government regulation, a maximum class is 36 students in senior high school. I don't know in maybe Dr. Song or similar number in the classroom, but in Indonesia we have many number of students in the classroom with different characters. So for working hours for teachers to handle and implement differentiated instructions, because yes, the teacher should have a well-planned program. I think working hours is, I think 8 hours a day. It's okay. 8 hours a day is okay. And what's it? The point here is how the teacher can manage the energy, because handling many students with many instructions, with different from the students' ratings, will spend much energy. So the teacher should manage their energy to when they will they enter the classroom. So maybe 8 hours a day is okay, because in Indonesia we have 24 hours maximum, at least 24 hours. For some students, 40 hours a week. Yeah, I think it's too many, still too many. I think that's all for Mr. Budi, Luna.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And any other question? You can just open your microphone or tap in the chat box.
Hello, Dr. Ha.
Yeah.
And I would like to ask, in modern teaching methods, how do teachers assess students' learning outcomes and progress?
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for the question. Normally in the traditional methods, the student will do the essays. They will, the teacher will read the question and the student will answer the question. However, in the modern learning and teaching methods, we have the different way to